Let's begin with some maybe good news for Detroit and its investors. A reprieve, even temporarily, for the automakers. Kelly just talked about it. Let's talk about tariffs and trucks. We've got Megan Casella in D.C., Phil LeBeau as well. Megan, let's start with you. On again, off again. What is the latest that we are hearing, and what do we know about potential tariffs/non-tariffs?
A little bit of firmer news now, Brian. Just a few minutes ago, we heard from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. She's the one who confirmed that rumor that we'd been talking about for about 24 hours, saying there would be this one-month reprieve for the automakers. She worded it as cars that are associated with the USMCA would not see tariffs for another month. She also said the president is open to hearing more about exemption. She said this exemption came about because Ford, GM, and Stellantis asked for it when the president spoke with them yesterday, and that he's open to hearing from other industries. That's the good news. The bad news is that she says it's only 1 month because these reciprocal tariffs, which they call the big ones, those are the ones set to take effect on April 2nd, and that the president is very firm on those and will have no exemptions there. So it's this temporary reprieve. The other bad news, I would say, guys, is that steel and aluminum tariffs have already been signed into law, and those take effect next week. They'll hit Canada and Mexico, and they'll hit the automakers as of now. So it's good news, but it might be brief.
And copper prices are jumping today because that was called out last night. That could be a place we go to next. Phil, so the automakers, look at the results they're getting from these phone calls.
That's good news. That's a 1-month reprieve. But in the end game, Kelly, when you look at this, they're still behind the 8 ball because they have to make a decision in terms of production within the next month. What are they going to do? And they're likely, because I'm just guessing that they're probably going to say, look, they're going to go into effect on April 2nd. We have to plan for that. And as a result, what are they going to do in terms of production for vehicles made in Canada and in Mexico? And the expectation is you're not going to be able to bring much of that production back to the United States. When you look at the daily production of vehicles, the overwhelming production, the volume is overwhelmingly in the United States, followed by Mexico, and then followed by Canada in terms of daily production. They'll be able to bring some of that, not much of it, back to the United States quickly. To bring it back in a large amount, you would need to build more plants and more assembly lines. That takes years. You're not going to do that within the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days.
Well, you're also, Phil, not going to make major and long-term. I mean, these auto plants, it's not just about buying parts from Canada or Mexico to put into a car, is it? It's about long-term investment. You look at the Ford Super Duty pickup truck. Ford is planning to expand an already large plant in Ontario, Canada, and those kinds of decisions are up for grabs. These are billions of dollars, and I would imagine, to your point, they're not going to change or waver based on something that may or may not happen for a month.
Correct. And that's the decision that they're facing is, okay, if we know that this is going to be the trade policy, let's say for the next 5 years, 4 years at least, what can we do realistically within the next 4 years? You cannot build a plant, retool it, get it up to speed, and start cranking out models in less than 3.5 years. And that's lightning speed in the auto industry. So they have to make a choice in terms of, okay, if this is what it's going to be, how much can we bring back here, which is nibbling at the edges, and then how much do we have to we're going to have to make these vehicles in these countries and bring them back here. What's the cost going to be? So you will see prices go up, incentives come down, and it's going to cut into the margins for the automakers.